They say beauty opens doors, but nobody told Eno that some doors never close once you walk through them. She was a small town girl with big dreams and bigger hunger for money, fame, and validation. From paying school fees late to sitting in private jets, her rise was nothing short of magic, or so it seemed. But behind every designer bag, every filtered smile was a secret buried in blood and silence. She wanted to be loved by the world and ended up owned by something darker than love. So sit back, take a deep breath, grab your drink, and prepare your heart as we listen to this beautiful story about greed, pride, and the price of wanting too much. Many years ago, in the beautiful city of Uyo, there lived a young girl named Eno. Eno was very beautiful, the kind of beauty that made people pause mid-sentence whenever she passed. Her skin glowed naturally, like she was kissed by sunlight. Her eyes were soft and curious, but behind those softness was a restlessness, a hunger to be seen. Eno was born into an ordinary home, one of those houses where dreams were bigger than income. But love still managed to hold the walls together. Her mother, Madam Imabong, was a civil servant, working as a secretary at the local government office in Uyo. It wasn't an easy life. She was a single mother who had carried rejection like a scar that never faded. Yet, she refused to let it define her. Every night, as they ate garri and groundnut or sometimes nothing at all, she would look at Eno and say, "Eno, my daughter, I will give you the best life possible. Even if I go hungry, you will shine. I want your father to see what he lost. He rejected you, but one day the world will celebrate you." "Mommy, you don't have to suffer because of me," Eno would say softly, her young eyes full of worry. But Madam Imabong would shake her head with a tired smile. "You are all I have. If I don't suffer for you, who will I suffer for? You must go far, my daughter. You must walk into rooms where they never thought a daughter of Imabong could walk." It became her life's mission. She denied herself every comfort just to make Eno look like she belonged to a better world. When the other women in her office bought new wrappers or went to the salon, Imabong would quietly say, "Next time, oh." She would keep her money aside for Eno's shoes, Eno's books, Eno's clothes, Eno's future. When Eno finished secondary school, Madam Imabong made her biggest sacrifice yet. She sold almost everything she had, the small generator, her wrapper collection, just to pay Eno's acceptance fees at a private university. "Mommy, why don't I go to public school like others?" Eno asked, feeling the weight of the guilt. Her mother looked at her, tears glistening in her eyes. "No, Eno, you must learn to work with the children of the rich. I want you to be among them, to see how they talk, how they think, how they dream. You don't belong to small places, my child. You will sit where kings sit." The school was prestigious, the type where students drove cars their parents bought as birthday gifts. Some girls changed wigs every week. Some boys wore perfumes that smelled like foreign success. But she came with her small Ghana must go bag, 2 pairs of jeans, and a determination to fit in. At first, she tried to stay focused on her books, but it didn't take long for the other students to notice the difference. "Why do you always repeat clothes?" one of the girls once sneered at her in the hostel. "Abeg, you're not tired to wear that same black jeans every day?" The laughter that followed cut deep. Eno smiled weakly, pretending not to care. But that night, she cried quietly on her bunk. It wasn't just about the jeans, it was about belonging. Every time she scrolled through her classmates' Instagram pages with their weekend trips to Lagos, their bronze pictures, their designer bags, their wigs, she felt small, almost invisible. And when the hostel girls gossiped about campus babes who got new iPhones from uncles, Eno listened carefully. At first, she judged them. She told herself, "I would never do a thing like that." But hunger for validation is a quiet thing. It doesn't start loud. It starts as a whisper. "You're not enough." And soon, that whisper became her inner voice. When one of her roommates, Sandra, introduced her to a guy who takes care of his girls, Eno didn't resist. The man was in his 30s, not too old, but old enough to have money. He took her to nice restaurants, bought her clothes, and transferred small money to her account for upkeep. For the first time in her life, walked around campus wearing confidence. Her hair was always done. Her nails matched her bag. Her phone was new. People started greeting her differently. Validation. That was all she wanted. But human cravings are like fire. It doesn't end when you feed it. It spreads. Soon, the small money wasn't enough. Her new friends were doing more, flying to Abuja for weekend hangouts, coming back with new iPhones, new wigs, new bags, new clothes, and whispers of secret luxury. And I wanted that too. When she told Sandra she needed something bigger, Sandra laughed. Na small girl money you dey collect now. You need a real man if you want something like that. One that will upgrade you. These boys, all they do is buy shawarma and take you to restaurants. They're not rich. That was how Eno met her first older and richer man. He was in his late 40s. He was married, rich and generous. He didn't waste time. He gave her money freely, rented her a better apartment off campus, and even sent her to Lagos once to relax. From that point, Eno changed completely. She stopped attending lectures regularly. Her Instagram started glowing, filter after filter, luxury after luxury. Soft life for nothing, she wrote in one caption. By the time she turned 22, she had enough money to finally do what she secretly dreamed of, a BBL. She told herself it was just to enhance her confidence, but deep down, it was about power. The power to make heads turn, to be the kind of girl nobody could ignore again. As she lay on her bed one night, scrolling through pictures of curvy influencers, she whispered to herself, soon, I'll be like them. Nobody will ever laugh at me again. And so, packed her bags and took a one-way flight to Lagos, not knowing that the journey she was starting would change her life forever. For the first time in her life, she felt free. Free from nothingness, free from her mother's constant sacrifices, from the shadow of poverty that had followed her since childhood. Lagos promised reinvention, and Eno was ready to pay the price. Days turned into weeks. The surgery, the recovery, the pain, all of it became part of the story she would one day tell with pride. When she looked in the mirror again, the poor shy daughter of Madam Imabong was gone. In her place stood something new, bold, sculpted and breathtaking. When Eno returned from Lagos after her BBL, it was like the entire Oyo had never seen a woman before. Her transformation was complete. Her body curved in all the right places. Her skin glowed. Her confidence doubled. Even people who used to ignore her now turned to look twice. By the time she resumed her final year at the university, Whispered followed her everywhere she went. Now that Eno be this. She don't do something, no, see her shape. Money is good though. Eno would smile modestly, pretending not to hear. But deep inside, she was basking in the validation she had always wanted. Her Instagram followers tripled. Every picture she posted got hundreds of comments. Her DMs overflowed students, politicians, businessmen, even married men with familiar surnames. Before long, she was not just a girl, she was a brand. Brands started sending her free wigs. Boutiques begged her to wear their clothes. She got invited to events she used to dream of watching on TV. But amid all the glam, something still felt empty. Every time she got home from a photo shoot, she would lie on her bed staring at the ceiling. The silence was too loud. Her mother would call sometimes and say, "My daughter, I don't see you posting books again, no. It's only party I see. Are you sure you will still graduate?" "Mommy, I beg, leave that matter." Would snap. "I'm fine. I'm doing something with my life. You will understand later." But even she didn't fully understand what she was chasing. Validation, money, power, or maybe just the feeling of being somebody. One Saturday afternoon, she attended a high-class wedding in Lagos. The kind of wedding that made it to Bella, Niger. The bride was daughter of one of her big men. The hall was pure luxury. Chandeliers, gold ribbons, chilled champagne flowing like water. Everywhere you turned, you could smell money and see ambition. Eno wore a fitted green gown that held her new shape like second skin. Heads turned when she entered. She smiled, pretending to be shy, but she loved it. Then, across the room, she saw her, Lydia Benson. Like the Lydia Benson, the Instagram goddess she'd followed for years. The one who posted pictures in Paris on Monday, Dubai on Wednesday, and New York on Friday. And I froze for a moment. Lydia was everything she wanted to be. Confident, famous, rich, and untouchable. For a while, she watched her from afar, debating whether to approach her. Then she took a deep breath and told herself, why not? When she finally walked up to Lydia, she smiled nervously. Hi, I'm Eno. I've been following you for years. You're such an inspiration. Lydia turned to her with a small, lazy smile, the kind that rich people practiced in front of mirrors. Oh, Eno, I've seen you online too. You're the girl everyone's talking about lately, right? Eno blushed. Me? No, I'm just trying small. Lydia laughed softly. Don't be modest. You're doing well for yourself. They exchanged numbers that day. From that moment, a new chapter of Eno's life began. They started texting, chatting late into the night. Lydia would call from wherever she was, sometimes from a yacht, sometimes from a hotel room overlooking the city lights. Baby girl, you need to think global, Lydia would say. You're too fine to be playing local games. Eno soaked in every word. Lydia's voice was hypnotic, calm, confident, commanding. One day, Eno finally asked the question that had been burning in her heart. Lydia, please tell me, how do you do it? I see you in private jets, in Dubai, in America. You're living the life, babe. Please show me now. How do you do it? There was a long pause on the phone. Then Lydia chuckled. You really want to know? Yes, so please, I won't tell anyone. Please, just show me how to do it. Lydia's tone changed. I don't usually tell people what I do, but I like you and we've been friends. You remind me of myself when I started these things. And since we are close, I'll teach you. And I sat up on her bed holding the phone tighter. I'm listening. Lydia sighed slowly. First thing, forget all these small boys that buy you shawarma and iPhones. They are playthings. What you need is one very wealthy older man, one that can change your life. And you laughed. I already have some of those, Jare. You know how these men are. They can give you, but not too much. I don't know what to do again. They'll promise the world, but give you just crumbs. Lydia's laughter came again, slower this time. That's because you're still thinking like a small girl. Let me tell you something. Rich men are stingy until you give them something that ties them. You understand? Ties them, and I repeated. Yes. There's only one thing that makes a rich man spend endlessly. One thing that will make him give you houses, cars, dollars. You will never lack again. And I leaned closer, her heart racing. What is it? Don't worry. Lydia lowered her voice. But first, you have to get pregnant for them. And I froze. Pregnant? Yes, Lydia said calmly. That's the game, my dear. The beginning of it. You sleep with them, get pregnant, and then I'll tell you the next step. Trust me. Once you carry their child, everything changes. And her mouth went dry. But won't carrying their child ruin things for me? I mean, what if... Shh, Lydia interrupted. You think I got this lifestyle by luck? Every woman you see flying private jets, they didn't get there by accident. There's always a secret behind their success stories. And went silent for a while, her mind spinning. She remembered her mother's tired face, her old house, her old classmates who now looked down on her. Maybe this was the next step. Maybe this was how she would finally rise to Lydia's level. Are you sure about this? She whispered. I'm very sure now, babe. You're smart, you're beautiful, and you're ambitious. This world doesn't reward innocence, baby girl. It rewards strategy. Just pick the right man. One who has everything to lose. And when you're ready, call me. Eno didn't sleep that night. She lay awake staring at the ceiling again. But this time, her mind wasn't empty. It was full of possibilities. She thought of all the men she knew. The businessman who owned oil blocks, the married senator who sent her dollars, the one with a private estate in Lekki. She smiled faintly. For the first time, she felt like she had found the real key to the life she had always wanted. What she didn't know was that the key she held would one day open the door to her downfall. When Eno finally decided to follow Lydia's advice, she didn't hesitate. Among all the men in her life, Sheyi stood out. He was older, married with two children, and very wealthy. He owned real estate companies in Lagos and Abuja. And he was the kind of man who could make or break someone's life with one phone call. From the first day she met him at the private dinner in Lekki, Sheyi had been generous, but not generous enough for the kind of life Eno wanted. She needed more. So she made her move. The relationship became more intense. She spoiled her with gifts, designer bags, spa treatments, and envelopes thick with cash. But when Eno realized she was pregnant, her hands shook as she held the test strip. She stayed at it for minutes, smiling and scared at the same time. It has happened, just as Lydia said it would. The next morning, she called Lydia immediately. Lydia, I'm pregnant, she said, her voice trembling. Lydia chuckled. Good girl, you did well. But you have to wait. Wait? For how long? Eno asked. Until it's 8 weeks. Then we'll take the next step. 8 weeks later, Lydia flew into Uyo and told Eno to pack light. Where are we going? Eno asked, her curiosity burning. You will see, Lydia said with a mysterious smile. Just trust me and do as I say. That night, they boarded a private vehicle heading north. The journey was long, bumpy, and quiet. They crossed the Nigerian border into Zinda, a small, dusty town in the Niger Republic surrounded by hills and dry wind. The place looked like something out of a dream. They arrived at a compound made of red mud walls. Inside, smoke rose from burning herbs. A group of women in wrappers were chanting softly. At the center of the compound sat an old man, bowed with white chalk markings on his skin. His eyes looked like they could see through people's souls. This is the priest, Lydia whispered. He doesn't speak much, but whatever he says, you must obey. And was heart pounded. She wanted to ask questions, but the man's eyes froze her tongue. The priest looked her up, then said in slow Hausa accented English, You want a man to love you forever? And nodded nervously. He smiled faintly. Are you ready to pay the price? They led her into a small room lit by one kerosene lamp. There was no bed, just a mat and a clay pot. The air smelled of strange herbs and blood. The priest's assistant brought a wooden calabash filled with a dark, thick drink. Drink this, the man said. It will cleanse your spirit and prepare your body. Eno hesitated. The smell alone could kill hunger. But she remembered Lydia's words. You want to live like me? You must obey this priest. So she closed her eyes and drank it all. It burned her throat like fire. Then they gave her some herbs to rub on her body, cold and sticky like oil mixed with ashes. You will stay here for 7 days, the priest said. No clothes, no food except what we bring, no talking, just silence and obedience. Her eyes widened. 7 days? He nodded. 7 days of silence brings 7 years of power. Lydia touched her arm. Don't worry, Eno. It's just for a week. You will come out stronger and wealthier. The days crawled by slowly. Every night, Eno shivered on the mat, a small reminder of what she was sacrificing. She prayed quietly sometimes, but the prayers always ended in confusion. On the seventh day, she woke up weak and feverish. The priest entered the room, muttered a few chants, then gave her another drink. Moments later, sharp pains tore through her body. She screamed, felt like her womb was being ripped apart. By evening, the pain stopped. When she looked down, the mat beneath her was soaked in blood. The fetus was gone. The priest came back with calm eyes. He scooped the remains, took them outside, and disappeared for hours. When he returned, he was carrying a small gourd tied with red cloth. This, he said, holding it up, is your bond. The child spirit is now your voice. Whatever you tell the man, he will do. Rub this mixture on your skin before you see him again. From that day, his soul will obey your tongue. Eno trembled, staring at the god. Lydia whispered, You've done well. You're now part of something powerful. Outside, as they boarded the car back to Nigeria, Lydia leaned closer to Eno and said softly, Please, my dear, take this seriously. Oh. There's something you're supposed to know. You can't sleep with any other man now. It must be only Sheyi. If you ever do this for someone else while he's alive, it will destroy you. But as long as Sheyi lives, you own him. He will give you the world. Eno nodded, half shaking, half excited. So that's it. It's done. Yes, Lydia smiled. Welcome to the real soft life. When they returned, looked different. Her eyes glowed strangely, her confidence almost unnatural. She called Sheyi that evening. Babe, I want to see you. They met in a restaurant. There, she said, Baby, I want to move to Lagos. Uyo is too quiet. Sheyi laughed warmly. You want to come to Lagos? No problem. I'll find you a house. Within a week, he bought her a duplex in Lekki. Then came a car, a brand new Range Rover villa. Then came trips, America, Canada, Dubai. Her Instagram page exploded. She became the influencer everyone envied. Private jets, luxury hotels, perfume ads, life on her own terms. Whenever she wanted anything, money, travel, gifts, all she had to do was ask Sheyi and he would say yes without thinking twice. Baby, can I go to London next week? Sure, send me your passport. Baby, I saw a new Cartier bracelet. Buy it. I'll refund you. It was like magic. And every time she looked at herself in the mirror, she would smile and whisper, Thank you, Lydia. She had the world at her feet. But she didn't know that the same charm binding Sheyi's soul to hers was also slowly binding her destiny to darkness. Eno had become a goddess of her own making. Everywhere she went, eyes followed her. Her name trended on blogs. Eno of Lagos spotted in Paris. Who is this mysterious beauty linked to the billionaire Sheyi? Her followers called her soft life queen. Her DMs were full of men offering her the world, but she barely looked at them. She had everything she thought she wanted: money, fame, cars, and the kind of body that made photographers fight to capture her angles. Each time she stepped out, she smelled of expensive perfumes and quiet arrogance. Sometimes she would stare at herself in the mirror and whisper, From Uyu girl to global babe, who say God no dey? But even her laughter had started to sound hollow. The life of abundance had become routine, and routine was boring. One afternoon, while scrolling through her DMs, lazily she froze. A blue verification tick. A name she had only seen on Forbes magazine. Franklin Jacobs, the sixth richest man in Africa. A man whose face appeared on billboards, whose name was whispered with respect and envy. The message from him was short and direct. I've seen you, Eno. You're beautiful. I would like to talk. Eno's hands trembled. Franklin. Like, Franklin! She gasped aloud. She checked the handle twice to make sure it wasn't fake. And it wasn't. She ran around her room, screaming into her pillow, laughing, shaking. Me. Franklin wants to talk to me. She replied almost immediately, trying to act calm. Good evening, sir. It's an honor, he replied. Call me Franklin. I've been watching your work online. I like your energy. Can we meet? That evening, her life changed again. Franklin sent a car to pick her up. It wasn't just a car. It was a black Rolls-Royce Phantom with a uniformed driver. From Lagos, they flew in his private jet. First to Dubai for lunch at a restaurant overlooking the desert. Then to Paris for dinner under the Eiffel Tower. Then, as if to make the world his backyard, they returned to Nigeria before dawn. It was like living inside a dream. Franklin was not just rich. He was charming, attentive, and single. Unlike Sheyi, there were no secret phone calls or lies to cover up. When Eno returned home that night, she lay in bed, her eyes wide open, her heart racing. She had tasted a higher life and she wanted it. The next morning, she called Lydia. Lydia, please. I think I want to reverse what I did with Sheyi, she said quietly. There's something else now. Someone better. Franklin. Franklin Jacobs. He's different. And he's not married. He's richer, he's powerful. Please, can you help me transfer it? On the other end of the line, Lydia's tone turned cold. You can't play with these things. Oh. You've bound yourself to Sheyi. What we did can't be undone. If you try it with another man while he's still alive, you will destroy yourself. But Lydia, Eno pleaded, Franklin is everything I've dreamed of. He's my future. Please, just this once. I can handle whatever consequences come out of it. Lydia snapped. You can't. That charm was made with life. Blood for blood. You can't repeat it. I'm warning you. Oh. She tried to avoid Franklin for days, but he was relentless. His calls, his gifts, his attention, they consumed her. Finally, she said to herself, just one night, nothing will happen. Hi, besties. This is where we'll stop for now. The rest of the story gets even more interesting. What will happen when the charm that gave her everything turns around to take everything back? You'll find that out in part 2 of the story of Ino. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more gripping tales like this. And tell me in the comments, do you think Ino will escape what's coming? I'll see you in part 2. Bye.